I have no idea who that was.
Gene Vincent, 1 minute 57, that's fantastic.
It's very good. I liked it a lot, but I thought it was a contemporary person.
No,
How
Gene Vincent.
remarkable is that?
I've got my eyes on you.
And speaking of contemporary people, here's someone who was a very big star about 20 years ago, Mr. Marc Almond.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for that.
It's true, you are still a big star. I meant it that way. I mean, you've managed to hold on to
I'm still big, it's just the charts got smaller.
Ah, there we go. That's what we like. Sunset Boulevard thrown right back at us. Mark, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. You're looking very good as well.
Thank you.
Very well.
You look very fit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You've put on a bit of weight, which I'm pleased because I was a bit worried.
Have I really? Because I thought you've lost weight.
Maybe we swapped.
Maybe we'll swap a little bit.
No, I mean, you don't look big or anything, but I mean, you look just healthy, robust.
Healthy, yeah, I've tried to be, sort of, a little bit of just here and there, a little bit of whatever. But
now I'm worried. But you work out? Do you work out?
I work out, yeah. I don't drink, don't smoke, all those things. I'm so boring these days.
It's like me.
I'm boring myself,
You don't drink, you don't smoke. What do you do?
Oh,
well, that's a perfectly good question.
Well, I work out. I try to eat well,
What do you when you work out? You bench press?
I do all those kind of things. Yes,
I do.
do.
Do you do any stretching?
It's toning, really. Yeah. I think it's all about toning, and you've got to keep slim and toned and fit.
How old are you now, Mark?
I'm sort of in the sort of mid-40s now.
He looks good for mid-40s, doesn't he?
Very good.
And I admire the fact you've got the hair peroxide right now. First of all, I thought it was a Jimmy Savile lookalike sitting down there.
Thank you very much.
That's a joke. You don't look any... But that's the same shade he had.
I think, when you get older, you kind of... It disguises a million things, doesn't it, I think. So.
Do you have grey hairs under there, then?
I have a few of them, yeah. Just a few of them.
Do you dye hair on your chest, on your body, anywhere else?
Well, I thought I had a great tip, actually, I read about Nicky Haslam. He'd read in one thing, where he actually dyes his down below.
Now, Nicky Haslam is this kind of curious 60-plus socialite fella.
He gets that just for men, and gives it a quick brush through the nether regions.
Good heavens.
So there's a good tip there,
Good Lord. I'm not going grey anywhere yet.
Well, no, you look fantastic.
We don't have to keep saying this shit, but I'm just as surprised as
you're very lucky, I think. Maybe you have do you have a stress-free life? Is it...
Pretty much so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty lucky in that.
You're lucky in that respect,
You don't have a lot of stress, do you?
Well, I'm a very stressed person, always kind of living on my nerves. I live, that very on the edge all the time.
I suppose performing in the way you do as well, you're going out on stage, often more or less on your own. That must be pretty tough.
And I'm very much a workaholic as well. I'm always working, always busy doing something.
So how do you unwind? What do you do if you want to just cut loose and let's keep it legal? What do you do if you want to just relax for the weekend or for a holiday?
Well, I love movies, like going to see films. I always loved films. I do the things that anybody else does, really.
Do you like to cook?
I'm a terrible cook.
Andy apparently is a
terrible cook. But I like to, watch a bit of Coronation Street and all those things.
So your favourite soap would be Coronation Street or EastEnders?
Probably Coronation Street, because I come from that part of the country.
Yeah. Where do you come from?
I come from Southport, which is...
your accent is now, it's kind of like homogenised.
Well, Southport is posh. So it's like the posh side of Liverpool and Manchester, in between those two, but it's kind of a posh accent all of its own. I don't know if you've never been to Southport.
No, I've never been to Southport.
But it's lots of big houses and very posh people who speak very properly.
So nice.
So I've tried to kind of edge it out a bit. I've been in London for like 20 years now, and so I've tried to talk a bit like that sometimes.
You must be in London more than 20 years, though, because it's I suppose you came down, early 80s? That would
I came down about, I think, full-time, probably sort of, very, very, very early 80s, 83.
Well, stuff still happened about 82, 83?
82, well, I think the first happened 80, I think.
Yeah,
81 was Tainted Love and Memorabilia, I think.
But, that's it must be so great knowing you've got at least even just one track like that behind you, because that was a definitive track from that period.
It was very definitive, yeah. I mean, it's lucky. I think if you have a few successful records, you can, if you want to, live off that for the rest of your life, really. But, I mean, it was such a long time ago, but next year is my 25 years of making music. 25 years in showbiz.
Okay, I'm going to start a campaign to have a little statue put up of you somewhere. Now, where would be appropriate?
Southport?
No. I might have to go to Southport. Obviously somewhere in London. Where would be a good spot in London to have a little statue of Marc Almond?
Oh, gosh.
Where did you first perform down here?
Was
it Canning Town, the Bridge House?
No, I think it was probably something like... I think it was probably like the venue in Victoria.
That sounds good.
Do you remember that place? I mean, there was also there used to be a club called Maxine's in Leicester Square.
I remember
or something.
Maxine's.
Was it Maxine's or Maxine's?
I think that's become something else recently.
That's right. And it used to be... It was Taboo for a while, I think. They had the Taboo Club in the 80s, and I think that was where we first
never went to
performed
that.
down
My
here.
wife went to that. Speaking of Taboo, have you been to see Boy George's musical?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, actually. I really enjoyed it. And I thought the great songs, really kind of done with a lot of love. That's what I liked about it.
It's very fond. There's a fondness
There was love
for the
in
period.
it, and it was done with all the right reasons, I think. And great songs as well.
And it captured, I thought, I mean, I wasn't that into that scene as much as I was into, say, punk for something.
Yeah.
I did go to a few of the kind of new romantic bars and clubs. I always missed them, unfortunately, because they were often floating around. And they'd say, it's at Le Kilt on Tuesday and the Beetroot on Thursday.
Well, you were down
and
here,
I'd go
you
on the
see.
wrong night.
Yeah, because I was up in Leeds at that time.
So what were the big clubs up there?
Well, I suppose. Well, I DJ'd at the biggest club up there, which was the Warehouse Club in Leeds, and we were the first person up there to start one of those electronic, new romantic-y kind of nights and things.
These were the days.
But it was kind of based on what was really happening down here in London. But we always, being up north, you always get it a little bit wrong.
Well, it had a
don't you,
kind
I
of slightly.
suppose?
Well, no, I thought it was just an interesting, different take on it because they had a slightly more industrial feel.
Yeah, it was
And
much
I know there was
more
a lot
industrial,
of stuff
yeah.
going on in Sheffield as well,
Yeah.
which grew into very interesting music as well. But those, do you remember ID magazine when it used to be like a fanzine? And it
I was in the
printed
very
long?
first ID
No.
magazine. Yeah, I think the very first one wearing a black kilt or something. Somebody had made this kind of black kilt thing for me.
I'm
and-
going to invite you out. I want to go out for dinner with you, and I want us both to dress as absurdly as possible, as if it was 1980. We were youngsters without a care, Mark. Without a care. And we
Okay.
both were dressed, and we have a budget.
Yeah.
It was £75 for the whole outfit.
that much.
Yeah, and we've
As
got to
much
go.
as
That was a lot, but
£75, yeah.
it's what we're talking 24 years on now.
Okay.
And I suspect we should go to the Army and Navy. That's where people used to get a lot of stuff. I can see you in something military.
Yeah.
Maybe with the trousers, one leg removed.
I've got a lot of military outfits at home.
Let's do it. Let's
Yes.
do it. Let's go out together one night. Let's start the tongues wagging.
Exactly.
Let's face it, we could both do with the exposure.
I saw you in a kilt one night. Anyway, you were out wearing a kilt one night. But you can carry off a kilt.
You say that, but
no,
I
thought you carried it off very well.
there were
that
repercussions of seismic shockwave
No,
propulsion.
I thought you carried that off
Thank
because
you,
you've got the height. You can carry off a kilt.
I was trying to go for the goatee look. He looks so good in a kilt.
Well, I thought you looked good in it, Jonathan. You know.
Well, thank you. That
You
means a lot.
did. They may have laughed. They may have
Mark, the
laughed.
statue's
but
got
I
even
didn't
bigger.
laugh.
It's going to be a statue of you with Snorvitz the dog.
Snorvitz the dog.
Then we'll get, then the old folk will come and pay homage as well.
Yeah.
And there is actually a statue of Snorvitz the dog up in Blackpool.
No, it's not, is it?
There is on Blackpool along the Golden Mile, and I climbed up once. This was back in my drinking days, and I had my photograph taken sitting astride him.
That's fantastic.
That took some balancing.
Snorbits, whatever happened? Well, I suppose Snorbits is probably long gone now.
Snorvitz
isn't
is
it?
in dog heaven, I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe Bernie Winters is also no longer with us. I'm
Is
not
he
sure.
not? I don't know.
I'm not sure. No one knows.
Remember,
If you know the whereabouts, of the
Please let us
Winterbourne-
know.
There is a classic story of which I was reminded this week. It's a showbiz anecdote, pure and simple, of when Mike and Bertie Winters played a famous venue in Glasgow, a theatre, quite a hard theatre with quite a tough reputation. And the way the act went was Mike went out on stage first of all and would go, "Has anyone seen my brother? Where's my brother?" And Bernie would make himself known at the back of the theatre and walk forward. So Mike came out and said, "Has anyone seen my brother? Anyone seen my brother?" And Bernie came and said, "Here I am." And a heckler back said, "Christ, there's two of them." It's become like a Cosy Radio 4 show. Let's have a chat. Now, do we have some Scott Walker there?
Yes.
Because you're a big Scott Walker fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're going to play a track that I did a version
We're going
of,
to play
actually.
exactly.
Yes.
But did you base yourself on him at all? His musical style? His
Well,
vocal
I think you
style?
can't base yourself on Scott. I mean, Scott Walker's got one of those unique, fantastic voices. There's all these people. You always read these things that people say, "Oh, he sounds Scott Walker-ish," and he sounds like Scott Walker. But I always think that's rubbish because I don't think anyone sounds like Scott Walker because he's very unique. But I just love all the arrangements of those songs, of his solo albums and the Walker Brothers, and a great, fantastic voice.
I love. I first became aware of some of Scott's early work and the less popular stuff because of you. Because you put together a marvellous compilation. I believe Julian Cope did one as well.
I did the sleeve notes for one called Boy Child. I
that's
did all
the one
the
I'm
sleeve
thinking of,
notes,
yeah.
and then Julian Cope. Well, it's Julian Cope I had to really thank, I think, for really probably getting me really interested in Scott Walker because he put out a fantastic compilation, I think, at the very early 80s and everything. So I listened to that first, and I got really into that, probably originally through a lot of what he sort of said. So
See, the information is passed on from monkey to monkey. It's like that. This is the way. There's a chain, and I'm at the bottom of the chain. But I actually genuinely believe that of the few people I've seen perform live and the few people I've met, I think I would put you up there with Scott.
Oh, well, thank you.
Vocal stylings, because I think the last time you came on the radio show, you performed a Torch song.
Yes.
Even called Torch song, was it? No,
I don't know what I've always had these two careers in a way. I've always had this sort of pop side of things, and then there's this other side of things that I do that probably considered much more Torch song, chanson kind of, the sort of Jacques Brel stuff that I've done, and the more kind of much more intimate sort of jazzy influenced stuff that I've done. Yeah. So
I love all that stuff. This is Scott Walker. Let's talk in a very self-indulgent way about obscure pop stars and maybe even some French music after this. Yeah, but he's no Marc Almond.
No.
Scott Walker there, a fabulous slice of 60s pop with that kind of fabulous arrangement.
When I did the version of this song, we listened. When I did the version of Jackie, I listened to it, and I just think there was not much I really wanted to change with that arrangement, that string arrangement, because it was so good.
And that was quite a big hit for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did all right. I think it was one place bigger than Scott's version, so I think it was probably like 17 or 18 or something.
There was a period though where you were kind of lost to reality, I felt, because you were working with some odd people, and you were bringing out very strange stuff. And I've always been a fan, and I'd go and buy. I think Marc Almond's got a new, and I'd go and buy. I think, what's that?
I think I veered off in some strange directions.
Interesting ways, though.
I think interesting. Yeah, I was still really I don't know, experimenting and different things, but maybe I kind of went off in a bit too odd directions sometimes.
I think we all agree.
Yeah, I had to kind of come back to the sort of find my direction, I think.
Two things to deal with quickly. One is here a letter from an email coming from Steve saying that he works at Birmingham Library. He's at work right now, and his girlfriend Audrey is presumably a fan of yours, and she said she wants to suggest you that you record a song called Tower of Strength.
Oh, that is amazing, because I actually demoed that, and I think it was early in the 90s. I did a lot of demos of different cover songs, and I did a demo of Tower of Strength, and I do actually still have it at home, and I actually release kind of very special CDs over my websites sometimes, like limited things of demos and live concerts, and there's probably planned...
now, I didn't know you had a website. I'm stupid, because everyone has a website these days. We have a website. We should just thank Zoe, who has been working on our new website, which is being relaunched in February. So thank you, Zoe. She's gone back to work for Radio 1, which is obviously, I would have thought, something of a punishment.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
She's not here anymore. Mark, what's your website address?
It's www.marcalmond.co.uk.
I never guessed that.
It's called the Theatre of Marc Almond.
.co.uk. Theatre of Marc Almond, and you can get freebies and stuff on that.
Well, you can get special CDs that are we just do things like a limited edition of 1,000 CDs for like live concerts and demos and things like that.
I would like you to copy with all this stuff.
That will probably
by Wednesday. Available. I need all this.
Yeah.
And let's also clear up. I don't know we've dealt with this before, but the stomach pump story wasn't you.
That was
okay. That's all you need to say. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. It's a great story, that. And in a way, you're the perfect candidate for it. But I mean, it's a great...
Jonathan, don't go there.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going there. Don't complain. Please don't write in again. I'm not going there. I just wanted to give you the chance to clear your good name.
No, it's not... It's ridiculous, Jonathan.
And he's pulling faces. It's near the news. See, why didn't we get Mark in earlier?
Because you went off on your
10 minutes where you were going on about cooking.
Say thank you to Mark.
I could have been chatting to Mark.
Thank you to Ant and Deck.
Mark's album with David Ball, Soft Cell, together they form the unit Soft Cell. The single, The Night, is out now. Get yourself a copy of that. I would love to see you guys back at #1 in the charts.
Well, we're actually doing a tour sort of in February. We're doing 4 dates in England at the beginning of February. London, Manchester, Leeds and Birmingham. And it might be like a last tour for a long while.
I'm coming to see you live, and I'm going to dress in a flamboyant 1980s electro-fan stylish way.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I'm insisting on it.
OK.
Put it in your notebook.
I'm hoping for it. I will.
I sense something beautiful growing here. Never mind, Dave. I think you found the third member of Soft Cell.
I think so.
Mark, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Jonathan.
88 to 91 FM, this is Radio 2 from the BBC.